The 2026 Sire profile for first-year Sire, Grade 1 winning Kempton.
A new sire with the race record of a champion. The looks as handsome as his sire Kiss My Hawks, who also stands at Lazy E Ranch, and the tradition of being at the foremost stallion station in the quarter horse racing world. The Lazy E. This is his story.
In order to go to Lazy E and be successful, you must be a standout amongst a bunch of other standout sires. And with Kempton, it begins with his champion pedigree. Himself a 2-year-old champion colt, sired by a 2-time AQHA racing champion himself in Kiss My Hawks, who his sire, Tempting Dash, was also an AQHA racing champion 2-year-old colt. In a line of 3 generations of runners that won Grade 1 futurities as a 2-year-old. Kempton has kept that tradition alive.
So it all started when I was looking for a horse, and I was not able to go to the yearling sale, the TQHA yearling sale, but I had a friend of mine that he was starting his breeding operation, and he had a couple of mares, and I call him and I tell him, what do you have left? What was repurchased, or what did you bring back to your barn? Well, I saw pictures of him and I liked him. I was not able to see him the first time I bought him, because I just bought him through phone and pictures, and then I started breaking him out. There's where I got the first time to meet him, after I had already picked him out from the barn and sent him to the person that was gonna start showing him what to do in the track and get him breaking out and everything, the gates. Every step he did started showing us that he had the talent,
Mario called me, it was, I want to say early February, and he asked if I had a stall open, and I said yeah, and he said, because I got this colt I want to send to Remington, and I said okay, and well, we set a trip up here. They brought him up here, and if I'm not mistaken, he got here on a Wednesday, and we galloped him one time. We entered him in the schooling races for the next Wednesday, and I didn't know much about him. He got there, he galloped very professional, put him in the schooling race, he just dominated the schooling race.
In the training races, Kempton would be ridden by who would become his regular pilot, 3-time world champion James Flores.
Good one. And off they go, the 3, 4, and 5 with a noisy start. Kempton gets away very well, and here comes Cujo for Cody Knoll. Right up alongside, but it's Kempton, Cujo, and 40 acres.
Well, you have babies work good all the time, but he really showed his speed in the schooling race, like I said. Did we know he was what he turned out to be? No, but he always showed the signs of it. And you have horses that are your Michael Jordan and your LeBron Jameses. They look great in practice, but when the lights come on and the lights are on the court, they just shine brighter than ever. And that's kind of what Kempton, that was kind of his deal, when the lights came on, he showed up, and he really, when you asked him for it, you could see it in the races. We never really asked him in the morning, but in the afternoons and in the night, he would really turn it up all the way.
His first schooling race, man, it was an eye-shocking. We stayed with an impression that we had a good horse, but not that type of horse.
He was on the path to become King Kempton early.
Prior having the schooling race at Remington, I had a lot of people that had already known the horse and they were interested in, but I had to live the dream, we had to follow up and keep it going. A lot of people even told me, what are you gonna go do at Oklahoma? There's where big horses run.
So from there we go to the trials to the Oklahoma futurity, and he was in the 2-hole, and he broke good. The 1-horse bumps him, the 3-horse bumps him, the 1-horse bumps him. They bumped him for about, no exaggeration, Greg, probably 75 yards.
They're off in the first Oklahoma Futurity trial of the night. Congestion to the inside, clear to the outside is Little Ella. Now coming on is Sugar's Train. Between runners, Tenadora. Kempton has work to do after getting crushed at the start, and Kempton answers the bell. Kempton, too good tonight. Rolling on here, and Kempton wins it by a length and a half. Big photo coming up for place showing fourth involving Sugar's Train, Tenadora, and Be Significant.
And they opened up, and he goes and he wins his trial by length and a half, length and 3/4. Not too many horses can do that going 300 yards. That was a big eye-opener for me. He made the consolation with all that bumping going around. They kind of stepped on his quarter and ripped his quarter. So we opt not to run him in the consolation.
Once we see his trial race, we were impressed, and we knew we had a horse. We just needed to take care of him first than anything, right? Because he had qualified to a juvenile. We opted not to run him, but we knew we had a final horse.
He was paid up in the Sam Houston fraternity, and the owners, Mario and his dad, they called me and they said, "What do you think of supplementing him to the Heritage?" And I said, the horse is doing good. I said, he's over that little cut on his foot and everything. I said, and by no means do I think he's fast enough. I said, for sure.
But it's always kind of nerve-wracking whenever you have to put up that kind of money, knowing the kind of horses you're going to go against for 5 spots. Anything can happen in horse racing, and he overcame it all, you know.
So there's where in a family decision, we opted to pay in the Heritage Place fraternity and come back with a sound horse without running the juvenile.
We waited right till the last minute to make the final decision to supplement him because the horse was completely sound. He was ready to go. We supplemented him. You know, I had all the faith in the world in that horse. It's a big moment of pressure when you supplement a horse for that much money, you know, just coming off a trial win.
The entries came out. He drew the outside. A little nerve-wracking for me. The night, if I recall correctly, races were real fast early. One of D. Keener's, I believe, punched the fastest time about 4 races before Kempton, and he was about the only horse that had punched the bubble besides the first 2-3 races, and track had seemed to kind of have died down, slowed down a little bit.
They're off. Good start from the rail. Cowboy Trace right there, losing their rider, Edlin's PYC. Kempton now coming on, trying to get past Cowboy Trace. Fairly Flying moving well to the outside. I'm your Huckleberry coming on as well as BVIB Quick. It's Kempton going forward, and Kempton on the lead now, running free. Kempton going to win this one by almost 2.5.
And then Kempton came up out of the outside and just blistered down through there and put fastest time. And it was kind of nerve-wracking, honestly, because they took a while to post the time. And I mean, anybody who's watched a lot of races, I've watched a lot of races, to me it looked like a qualifying time. He didn't make no mistakes. I mean, he was running from the word go. It looked like a qualifying time, but the time took forever to be posted, and posted fastest time, and you know, his performance was outstanding, you know, and did what we knew that he was capable of doing.
We had a pressure, you know. It's hard to throw the supplement and risk it with over 300 and plus horses, and but we knew we had him. We knew we had the horse, and we just needed a perfect start, perfect break. And that's what happened that day.
June 1st, 2024. Heritage Place Futurity, a Grade 1 event at Remington Park in Oklahoma City. Kempton would be the morning line favorite, as well as the post time favorite, going to post for this 350-yard event, with a full field of 10 2-year-olds going postward, looking to net the $454,000 first place check that would be awarded to the winner, as the Heritage Place Futurity is one of the most prestigious quarter horse events in their 2-year-old calendar.
They're off. The Heritage Place Futurity. Good start. Occupation way sharply outside. Kempton right there. Trying to call it mesmerized. Goes Magic Wagon full of run here. Juice Box to this one as well. Kempton on the advantage on the outside. Up over the leg. Occupation right. People coming on.
The way he did it in the finals, you know, he didn't beat him by a head, a neck. You know, he beat him by daylight. And if I'm not mistaken, that race was like the second or third fastest Heritage Futurity ever. You know, so it was it's a very great feeling. It's almost hard to explain. You know, you have to experience it to know what I'm talking about.
Well, it was a perfect start. Horse broke in front. Never lost his train of thought or anything during the race. He ran really good. He ran a good race. I asked him about halfway down through the track. Got after him left-handed. He responded very, very well to the left-hand stick in the trials. So I went left-handed again tonight, and he responded good. Horse ran a really good race, and couldn't be any more grateful to end the meet with this win.
After he won that, he was wanted. At that time, we were still. Our main goal was racing, not breeding. But you had the bigger farms inquiring about him and stuff, you know. But nothing was ever said, you know. But still, that idea was in their head already.
While I was looking for stallions, Kempton popped up. We could see what he was doing already. We see the looks, we seen his pedigree. If I remember right, his grandmother run out 300 and some thousand. So I went back to the Gonzalez's barn at Remington Park, visited with him a little bit, looked at the horse. He was very well mannered, always resting. You get him up to go to the track, he was all business. They introduced me to Mario, the owner of the horse, and that even made it better. Super nice guy, easy to deal with, and loves his horse. I mean, he believes in him, loves him, but what I like about that horse is he's just going to cross on a lot of mares. He's got a lot of great things about him, and we were hoping that he would do great in the Heritage Place Futurity, and he did.
We knew we had a career in front of us. We needed to keep him running. He was sound. That was first than anything. Our main purpose to keep him running. You know, he needed to be sound. And once we ran the Heritage, we said we need to try to make him champion 2-year-old colt. That's our main decision. We needed another futurity. So we looked at Evangeline. We decided to go over there.
You know, Louisiana's got some good competition over there. You know, you're just not going to go over there and steal a race.
We felt that we needed the Evangeline Downs futurity to win champion colt.
He travels perfect. He goes from one stable to another, and like he doesn't worry at all.
It was cool. Louisiana was cool for him as well, because he would be out hand walking and people would just be like, "Is that Kempton?" "Yeah, it's Kempton," you know. I mean, it was just cool, man. You were taking him to the track. There was people asking if they could take a picture of him or take a picture with him or whatever, you know. And for us, that was, like I said, that was our first superstar, Greg. So it was cool for us because, yeah, why not?
Is all body. Light brush from Kempton at the start. Away sharply was JJ Jessa Dynasty down towards the inside. Legend of Corona charges through. Now Kempton hits his high gear, and Kempton takes the front with 1:10 to go. But JJ Jessa Dynasty is going to give him a fight. It's going to be Kempton and JJ Jessa Dynasty. Close for third. Looked like it might have been Say Snow More nosing out favorite love.
When he got back, we were dealing with a little bit of gait issues with him, and the trials, he was a step slow away from the gates. Ended up fast, third or fourth fastest, but came back really good after the trials and was settling back into what we called home for him, you know, and was just settling back into the program and his daily routine.
Kempton would go into the Evangeline Downs Futurity as the most accomplished runner going to post in a field of 10 for the Grade 2 event.
Is all body. Good start from Kempton down towards the inside. Also away well from between Sace Cholito's charges forward. Out wide is Eagles Up, and Kiss My Maruska tries to get into gear. It is Kempton in the lead. Outside, Eagles Up is charging forward. Sace Cholito's, and it is going to be Kempton who takes the EVD Futurity. Late charges from Kiss My Maruska, and Eagles Up fall short.
I give him a lot of respect for traveling out of his comfort zone and going over there and being victorious in that fraternity.
You know, it was awesome that we got to share him with that part of the world, as well as New Mexico, Oklahoma. Everywhere he went, I think he left a mark on people, and that's what I think that's what's special about Kempton. You know, is he had fans, and he's a special horse. You know, and I think anybody who played a part in his career will tell you the same thing. It was just kind of, for me, it was his kind of hush moment. You know, it was him just doing his thing and going out there and showing that no matter what anybody said, he was still King Kempton. He was still going to do his thing, you know.
We were looking for the 2-year-old champion award from the AQHA. It's a really, really nice award. And I really thank AQHA for that really, really great accomplishment.
Kempton was named the 2024 AQHA Champion 2-year-old colt.
Louisiana's a big racing industry. They got a good program down there. Just the fact of him winning that fraternity, I'm sure people from Louisiana are going to want to breed to him just for the simple fact that he won that fraternity down there, and they saw him, they saw his conformation, they saw his demeanor, and they saw his speed and his talent. So I think that plays a big part in it also.
Me and JJ went to visit the couple of farms that were interested, and it was hard to take a decision with such beautiful farms and well operated. Lazy, we know, has a pretty wonderful program in Oklahoma. Her mare is a great facility, man. It's almost a wonderful place to be. You know, you when you see it, you can't believe it. You see grass and mares and that great fence, that white fence, man. It's beautiful.
So when we knew it was coming down to Lazy and a few other farms, I invited Mario out. Mario come, JJ come with him. We showed them the stallion barns. We took them through the breeding facility. We showed them where we do the sales prep at the Lazy Training Center. Showed them how the whole deal works to get to where we need to be, through the sales, through the breeding. And when I showed Mario all this and introduced him to David, and he's seen the other stallions, he knew that was the home for Kempton.
And I know he's going to be well cared there. He's going to have his well-retired time there with the best stallions around the industry. And I know he has a great future there with Mr. Monty McClure.
If you look at him, he's almost like a drawing. He's pretty close to perfect as far as, you know, his neck, his big shoulder, his short back. He's long underneath. He's low hawked. He's a very well made individual.
That horse was like the #1 draft pick out. People's already looking at him. He's on the map, and I think he's going to stand out right here in Oklahoma when his first crop hits the track.
At Lazy, it's a first-class operation. You know, they got connections, they got mares, they got people behind them. Their facility is just second to none.
He has the looks, he has the pedigree, and he has the record. We want that to inherit to his babies as well.